Thank you, Dr. Meera Agnihotri. You happen to be my teacher also in my alma mater, and your kind words give me a lot of inspiration and blessings. Thank you for all the kind words. I really don't know if I really deserve all of them. But anyway, thanks once again, Foxy, for giving me this privilege of being with you on a very, very important and pious occasion. President of Foxy, Dr. Arpesh Gandhi, Dr. Atul Ganatra, Dr. Jaideep Tank, past presidents Dr. Nandita Pachelkar, whom I could see on the screen. There are many others. In fact, I'm sorry I may not be able to name everybody, but my regards and good wishes to all of you, all the members of Foxy, all the past presidents, all the senior people. I don't know whether Dr. Rajan Sharma is connected to us or not right now, but in any case, my good wishes to him also, our president of IMA. I am so happy to be with you on this particular day. We all know that today is National Doctors Day, and this National Doctors Day was created just to pay the most humble tributes of the nation to the memory of the great Dr. B.C. Roy. In fact, it is a tribute to the doctors, but this was named because we had a leader like Dr. B.C. Roy, who was born on 1st July and whom we lost also on 1st July. Honestly, he has been one of the greatest icons for the medical profession, who has dedicated his life very selflessly, not only for the cause of the medical profession or the patients, but also for the nation as a great educationist, as a great political leader, as a great freedom fighter. And in fact, just before this program, I was part of another program where we launched a fellowship program for international doctors of the region through the National Board of Examinations. And I was, in fact, this is a program where foreign doctors will apply for Indian fellowship, and it was a historic moment. And I was trying to recall that when our great Dr. B.C. Roy had applied for a fellowship in England at the St. Bartholomew's Hospital, his application was rejected because he was an Asian. And then it is history that he kept on applying, and every time his application was rejected. And after 30 rejections, the dean of the St. Bartholomew's Hospital in UK ultimately had to accept his application. And he is one doctor who within 2 years and 3 months got not only the MRCP but also simultaneously got the FRCS also. So he was a member of the Royal College of Physicians also, and a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons also. So it's a very, very great moment for us, and I think the most important for all of us is to remember our great leader, our Bharat Ratna Dr. Bidhan Chand Roy today, who uh, did so much for the medical profession. His role as the President of the Medical Council of India before independence, and as the President of the Indian Medical Association, also as Chief Minister of West Bengal for over a decade, and as a freedom fighter, and as one of the bright meritorious students. I think there are so many great things about Dr. B.C. Roy which all doctors must know and must remember, and I would start by paying my greatest tributes to the memory of Dr. B.C. Roy, and would love to congratulate all of you and then wish you all the best on this National Doctors Day. Our Prime Minister has, I think, expressed the greatest feelings of our government for the doctors on 22nd March, when he had appealed to everybody to, on record, pay the tributes of the nation. And it was 1.35 billion people who came out of their house on the Prime Minister's appeal. Barring any, ideologies or anything, everybody came out. And for the last 4-5 months, everybody in the country and all across the world has literally been acknowledging and worshipping the doctors, acknowledging the contribution of the doctors as corona warriors. And we also feel sad that we have lost many of our doctor friends in this fight against COVID. We have lost many of our nurses, paramedics, and very, very important senior doctors we have lost in this particular. So this is an unusual time for all of us, unusual situation. But the great thing is that I have not seen even one single doctor till now who has either lost confidence or whose morale is low. And I would also like to pay my tributes to the mothers of the doctors who have not stopped them from going to work. And every doctor, in spite of whether he is a junior resident or a senior professional, they are in close contact with the COVID patients. They are not shirking from their responsibility. They are doing their best. And this is why, because of the great contribution of our doctors, we can find that India is, I think, far better in its performance as compared to the rest of the world, with the least mortality rate in the whole world and the almost maximum recovery rate in the whole world, and with the least cases per lakh or least deaths per lakh as compared to any other country in the whole world. I think we, because of the contribution of the medical community, have done so well. So the contribution of the medical fraternity during these COVID times, it will always be remembered. I think it will go down in history. People used to say that the doctor in the society is some sort of a substitute of God, but probably is for the first time that people have also, although there are a lot of stigma issues which probably we have been able to overcome by now to quite a great extent, but now people have started really appreciating when they see that so many doctors have also lost their lives. So now they have started appreciating the contribution of the medical community. And I know that you as Foxy, because your work is something which doesn't stop with anything. Because I know that other diseases somebody can ask people to wait. But if there is a pregnant mother and the delivery is due, whether it is COVID or no COVID, the gynecologist has to handle the patient. She has to go to the labor room, she has to conduct the delivery, she has to ensure the safety of the mother, she has to ensure the safety of the child with the help of the pediatrician. So I know that as Foxy, you have also contributed a lot during these troubled times, ensuring that the maternal services and related activities do not stop anywhere, whether in the government sector or in the private sector. And we have been able to ensure that during these COVID times, while the great amount of concentration of the government and the health care delivery system is on COVID patients, but our non-COVID activities do not suffer. I was happy to see from the slide presentation that a lot of guidelines have been contributed by you, and you have also given good quality guidelines to your over 38,000 members. And I am sure that because this being a new disease and its new behavior, and even now we can't say for sure 100% about the behavior of the virus. So under these circumstances, any guideline from any responsible organization for its members, I know it must be a great welcome move and must have been received well, because in health ministry we know that there is hardly a day when we don't have to draft a new guideline for a new subject with the help of experts. And there are, I think, hundreds of guidelines that we had sent to the country all across India during this period. And you will be happy to know that we were the first country to respond to the news of the COVID virus, which was informed to the whole world by China on 7th of January. And on 8th of January, in this ministry itself, where I am sitting right now in Nirman Bhavan, we had called our first meeting of group of experts. And in the next 7-8 days, we had drafted the detailed advisories for all our states, governments and all related health professionals, and delivered them those guidelines, and then also ensured that we have detailed community surveillance activities, we had point of entry surveillance, and then so many things that happened during the course of the last 4 months. Prime Minister had constituted a group of experts under me. We met 17 times, we had ministers and all senior bureaucrats in that. The Prime Minister had been monitoring himself. You have seen the various phases of the lockdown. You have now seen the various phases of the unlock period also, and during these period there had been so difficult times, issues of migrant laborers and so many things, but the government tried to handle all of them with the help of the medical community and the related systems. Today we have been able to create almost 13 lakh beds dedicated to COVID care in our COVID hospitals and COVID health centers and COVID care centers. And it's almost for everything that is needed. A lot of activities have been happening. There are a lot of activities which are happening on the scientific front. Since I handle the science ministries also, so there are almost a dozen candidates in India working on vaccine. Our CSIR and other scientists are working on discovery of new drugs or repurposing of the old drugs for COVID, simultaneous research going on for scientific modern techniques being used for research in the drugs available with the Indian systems of medicine. So there are so many activities which are going on, and I am sure with the consistent support being provided by our medical community, our organizations like yours, and now I can see Dr. Rajan Sharma also there, the organizations like Indian Medical Association, everybody has been putting their heart and soul. Every professional is supporting in some way or the other. So it's very heartening, although we feel sorry for those lives that have been lost, and it's not only the patients but our own doctors also who have lost their lives. But I'm so happy that you have dedicated this particular day to organ donation movement, and incidentally this particular subject has been so close to my heart, and I have worked on it very passionately for last 25 years. When I was health minister in Delhi 25 years back, we started the first total body donation movement, which, because there used to be a lot of shortage of cadavers in medical colleges, and for the cadaver organs that you get from cadavers and all. And now over the years this movement has grown so big. We got the NATO also officially organized during these years. We have all seen the Organ Transplantation Act, which started its journey in 1994, and then it got amended also. But still I feel that as compared to countries like Spain or UK or Australia, our number of the organs that are donated in India is, I think, quite less. It is just about 0.65 per million as compared to almost 35.1 in Spain. I had myself gone and visited and seen the organ donation program of Spain in 2014 when I was Union Health Minister. So there is a lot that needs to be done, although there is a lot of awareness already there. In recent past, we organized two big functions in Delhi, where we called both the sites, means those who had donated the organs after brainstem death and all of their family members, and those who had received. So it was such an emotional scene where people who had received, they would speak something, and then the family members of those who have already lost their family member, but they feel that the organs of those family members, they are still, their heart is vibrating in somebody else's body, or a lung, or a liver, or a kidney, or a pancreas. And I think after brainstem death you can use almost 37 organs. So this is but this in India, what I have felt is that India has that inherent goodness and inherent feeling where everybody wants and loves to do some good things which help humanities, and if that feeling, if we can ensure that that feeling is we can ensure that we keep that feeling alive, we motivate people to do good things, then people accept the good things. And if those good things are conveyed, I think, by doctors, and amongst the doctors I know the gynecologists have a contact with the key person in the family, the spirit or the backbone or the real, you can say, the pivot of the family is the mother. And mother is one person who is we always say that God has to be omnipresent, and to keep himself omnipresent, he created mothers so that there is God in every home. And the contact with this mother God is only with the gynecologist. And if we can convince that God in the family, then all those things that we want to do, the good things for the society, I think there can be a huge dissemination of positive energy for that. And I'm sure that once Foxy, with its 38,000 membership, takes up the cause of organ donation, where it is being now supported by law also, it is being supported by so many well-meaning NGOs all over the country, and the official systems are also contributing by creation of green corridors and so many things. And there is a very positive feeling for this particular movement in the society. Certainly it is the need of the hour. You have yourself shown in your slide how many people they die, lakhs of people they die because of want of organs. And it is not that we don't have the organs. We have the organs, we have the people. Almost 80,000 people die in road accidents. So many means statistics tell us that if we pursue the course of organ donation in the right direction, with the right perspective, with the right spirit and the right type of organization, there is no doubt that we can achieve great success. So I would love to congratulate all of you once again, and wish you. And once again I would repeat that as far as your department is concerned, I started with my Matri Suraksha Abhiyan 25 years back, when Dr. Kamal Bakshi used to be your president. And now, even now as Union Health Minister, the mandate that I have given to my people here is that I don't want even one maternal mortality. Why should a mother die just because she became pregnant? It can't. It has to be a boon for every mother. It can't be a, like she should always feel blessed. It can't be a curse for her. And that is the spirit with which we would like, because the programs we have modified here, they will need the cooperation of every gynecologist. And we would like that at every stage, whatever the loopholes are there in the system, we would like to repair all those loopholes, plug all of them, and see that unless there are unavoidable causes, we know that there could be few, but otherwise there should not be a single maternal mortality. There should not be a single woman in the country with anemia. Why should there be anemia prevalence in the country, and more particularly in pregnant women? And I think this is the time for the Foxy also to start working on, because I don't except for I got one paper by one gynecologist. I am forgetting the name of that gynecologist who had done a uterus transplant. So this movement, it has not become very strong in India right now, but I think that although that may not be a life-saving thing, but for those who need a uterus for a baby, and for them uterus transplant, and for others to donate uterus also. So that movement also has to grow in India, and I would say that at academic level, the Foxy must support such gynecologists. And from the government side, we are all with all of you for the you can say for taking this particular aspect also forward. I know that there have been some successful uterus transplants in some countries in the last 5-6 years, but India, I think, needs to grow in this particular field also. We are already doing so many transplants of other organs, but uterus also needs and deserves a little more attention. And I am sure the Foxy people, with senior people like you, will certainly plan something in that direction also. So with these few words, I once again thank you all for giving me this privilege. Once again, all my good wishes to all of you on the Doctors' Day. A great happy Doctors' Day to all of you, all our Corona warriors, and I wish and pray that all of you keep yourself healthy and protect yourself from Corona during these Corona times. Dr. B.C. Roy also said that you cannot dream of a Swaraj unless we have a strong and healthy body and mind in the society, and I think that's what we all have to contribute to. So thank you so much. Namaskar. Bharat Mata ki Jai.